I'm going to be talking today about cheater bars and ratchets, or cheater bars and wrenches. Either or, it's a known method that's been used by many mechanics and DIYers alike. The cheater bar is known as a bar where you can stick over the top, usually consisting of a pipe, and it adds additional torque via leverage to help you remove the fastener that's either seized in place, rusted in place, or and so forth. But if you haven't already, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Check out my channel content for more, and hey, have fun. The thing I want to say is it's not recommended to do this with a ratchet or any of the other tools, as this is considered to some companies misuse of tools. And I do understand the concept of if it works, go with it. If you need the tool for the specified purpose, you're going to have to fabricate or make. But just know that this could void the ratchet's warranty, or it could void your relationship with either the tool distributor or where you're buying tools from. This ratchet is solely for this purpose because that's what I have it for. Let me take you back a little bit. When I was a little younger, probably about 15 or 14, I didn't have the wide variety of tools that I have now. So what I did was I used a cheater bar, and as I mentioned, that consists of throwing a pipe usually, or some sort of thing that slips over your wrench or ratchet to add additional leverage via torque to the fastener. And that does apply and work, but the problem is it's not recommended for your ratchet, and that's why they make breaker bars in the first place. Good to know that you can use a ratchet or a pipe for additional leverage. It's also good to know the limitations and strengths of your ratchet or your wrench that you're putting this pressure to. They're not made for a breaker bar or a cheater bar for that matter. So you have to know what the limitations and strengths are so you don't strip out or cause harm to your ratchet or yourself. Now here's the other thing. I see people putting huge pipes on them. Now mind you, when you put a huge pipe over a ratchet with an arm that's only about a foot long, you got to think that the breaking point right here is when you're applying all that force, all this additional leverage that you're putting on is going to cause a bend, and that's where the failure is going to be. So just keep that in mind, your length versus the overall length of the ratchet you're applying the force to. If you ever wonder how much torque you're applying to the ratchet without over torquing it, well, there's an easy, simple way you can do that without having to do so much math and calculations. What you can do is you take the pipe or whatever you're putting over the top, and you can kind of get a guesstimate of how much force is being applied or how much torque is being created by how much force is being applied to the ratchet and the bar. So say I have an approximation about 2 feet, and if I take this, let's just say it's approximately 23 3/4, given that, so about 2 feet, and we've measured that out to about 24 inches, which is 2 feet. We can take the amount of force that I'm pulling up on it, which is about, say, 30 to 35. Well, at 30, if I'm pulling straight up at a consistent pressure, about 30 pounds, that gives me a total average amount of torque that I'm adding. If I multiply them, that gives me about 60 pounds of pressure that I am, or 60 foot-pounds that I'm applying to this fastener. If I do the same with about 35 foot-pounds, that gives me an overall torque rating of 70. So it kind of gives you a guesstimate of how much torque you're applying to your fastener. If I do 50 at roughly 2 feet, that gives me an approximation of about 100 foot-pounds that I'm applying to that fastener when I am removing it. Now that could be plus or minus some, which is why I said it's an approximation. So now I'm going to head out to that junkyard and show you a couple of examples. People ask me, what if I don't have a breaker bar? Well, what I tell them is, if you're okay with using a ratchet like this, and this is just an old Vita ratchet, I have some stripped gears in here. What I tend to do is just stick a pipe over it. I wouldn't recommend that for most ratchets, but usually if you stick a pipe on top of it, as you can see, gave me that little extra leverage to remove the fastener. See? Just like that. Here's another bolt right here. I've got a 21mm socket right here. Standard ratchet. I can't pull on it. Slip a pipe over it. Now, depending on who you're going through, this will void your ratchet's warranty. It's my breaker ratchet. All you got to do is add a pipe a little over it. Boom.
still a little tough. Oh, yeah. Other ratchet. It's highly suggested to use a breaker bar. But as you can see, it's loosening.
Now that you have an idea of how the cheater bar works, how the pipe is affecting the overall length, and how that plays a part into leverage, well, it shows that it does work. And if you're in a dire bind, though it's not recommended, you can use this method to help you remove the fastener that you need to. Not recommended for fine tooth ratchets whatsoever. I'm just going to say that right now. Though I've never tried it on a fine tooth ratchet, it's not recommended. But I hope this video serves some purpose to somebody who is in maybe that dire bind of like, I'm debating whether to spend $50 on this breaker bar, or should I just stick a pipe over my ratchet and do a little bit of calculation to see how much force my ratchet is first rated for. And that also means AMSE spec. Not saying that all ratchets are set to AMSE spec. I think that's what it's called. And you can do kind of an approximate guesstimate to see how much torque you're applying to the pipe on the ratchet to loosen the fastener. So hopefully that helped. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Check out my channel content for more. And hey, have fun.